Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick info before we begin. In today's video, I've got two stories for you and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user Throwaway Andrew the Cat. My girlfriend, 28 female, wants to break up because I, 30 male, bought the wrong chocolate. I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. My girlfriend and I have been together for almost 3 years now. Everything is going great and she's the love of my life. But today, something weird happened. I told her I was going to the grocery store to buy some stuff for the next few days. I asked her to send me a list on Messenger. We always do this so I don't forget anything important. I asked her multiple times if she needed anything to make sure we had everything at home and didn't have to go grocery shopping again tomorrow. She said she wanted chocolates. Fine. What flavor should I bring? Any flavor is fine. You know what I don't like, so just don't bring that. She sounded annoyed, which confused me, but I thought she was just in a bad mood. I went to the store, got all the stuff on the list, picked up some chocolates, and then headed home. When I got home, she asked me where the chocolate was, and when I gave it to her, she exploded at me. I don't like caramel. How could you get such a simple thing wrong? Why did you ask me if you didn't care about the answer? You are driving me crazy and I don't want to be with you anymore. I was flabbergasted. I tried to calm her down and have a conversation, but she stormed out and slammed the door. I want to give her space, but wow, what just happened? I sometimes get her chocolates with caramel and I don't remember her saying she didn't like them. Can someone please explain what I did wrong? How should I approach her about this? Should I just let her be upset or go and talk to her? Alright OP, well it's not easy to answer your questions because I think I need a little bit more information. Like the first one would be, has she ever specifically told you that she doesn't like caramel? However, I kinda get the impression that this isn't about chocolate. Because screaming, storming off and slamming doors cannot be about chocolate. And if it is about chocolate, then I'd just let her break up with me, cause no. Now, personally, I don't know what you did wrong. From what you told us, it sounds like a pretty straightforward trip to the grocery store. I do a similar thing. However, my wife and I, we use an app where we just add stuff to the list and whoever goes shopping just uses the app. However, just in case, we do ask the other if there's anything that we need to include in the list now because we're going shopping, just a heads up, just in case anything's missing. Because it has happened sometimes that something runs out and we don't put it on the list right away because our attention got diverted by something else that happened. Because in a house with 3 kids, there's always something that's happening. However, OP, for your situation, I would wait for her to calm down a little bit and then talk to her, but also address the fact that her reaction wasn't proper. So yeah, I think in this case and like many others, communication is the first thing that needs to be tried. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What would you do if you were in his shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Acrobatic5971 says, okay, very clearly this isn't about the chocolates. I would bet good money that this is about several things. Like, she feels like you don't care, aren't attentive, and don't particularly make much effort. She doesn't feel listened to, and after 3 years together, dude, you really should know that she doesn't like caramel. She feels like she has to explain everything to you, like you're 5 and you don't listen or do anything independently. So the fact that she couldn't even rely on you to just buy the correct chocolate without having to micromanage you over it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Bunny690 says, this is her tipping point. It's not about the chocolate itself, it's what the fact you couldn't even get the right chocolate represents. You always ask for a proper list. My husband does this, drives me bloody crazy. I'm meant to know exactly what we need, but he doesn't. Why? Doesn't he have eyes too? Doesn't his brain remember what we need, or a simple list mentioned only 5 minutes prior? Also, 3 years and you don't remember she doesn't like caramel? She's clearly been putting up and up with you getting her things she doesn't like. It's not the chocolate, it's the fact you can't apply your own brain to tasks and need every tiny thing explained, and she feels you pay her likes and wants no attention, thus the caramel time and time again. WT Femortal, yes, I know, says, as some other people said, the chocolate was just a tipping point. Mine was socks. I broke up with my ex because of the socks he bought me. He never put any effort into what I like, into what I find interesting, into what I'm into. He bought me whatever he saw without any effort or thought. He never listened to me. I only wear black or white socks, never colored. He bought me red socks with the Pringles logo for my 18th birthday. I don't eat Pringles. I don't wear colored socks. We had been together for a year at this point. Also, I had got the exact same pair from Secret Santa at my school and I complained about them on the phone to my boyfriend, but he didn't even pay attention to what I was saying, I guess. It was my tipping point. It showed me he was never going to change. He was never going to care about me enough to listen to me talk, let alone pay attention and remember what I actually say. There were also other issues in that relationship. I'm glad I'm out of it. Now, I've been with my current boyfriend for 4 years, and it's enough for me to mention something I like once, and he remembers and surprises me for special occasions. Best feeling ever. OP's edit. I see a lot of assumptions in the comments, so let me answer a few things here so it's easier to find. I asked her to write the list because she spends more time at home than I do, so I assumed she knew better what we needed for the house. Some days I work 12-hour shifts and can't remember everything we need. I don't remember her explicitly saying that she hates caramel, but I will keep it in mind for next time. Also, she eats Snickers bars with caramel in it, so I thought she'd be okay with it, lol. I didn't buy her a chocolate that she hates on purpose. I'm not a passive-aggressive person. I do chores around the house, but because she's working from home most days, she does more of the chores as well. I have to travel for work every day, so we made an agreement about the chores, and she was okay with it. She doesn't do all the housework alone. I do 40% of the chores and she does 60%. I work 12-hour shifts 6 days a week while she works 5-hour shifts 4 days a week. We agreed to split the chores this way and it works for us. Yes, sometimes I forget things, but it's nothing malicious. I don't think that makes me a horrible boyfriend. I also always ask her if she wants me to get her anything, what she would like to eat, and if she needs anything at all. I care about her a lot. Yes, she's on her period right now. And I'm only mentioning this because people asked about it in the comments. Nobody's blaming anything on her period. It was just an answer to some questions. She experiences strong PMS symptoms during most of her periods and is waiting to see a specialist about it. Unfortunately, it takes a few months to get an appointment with them. I know her favorite flowers, perfume, McDonald's order, and how to make her favorite smoothies, etc. But running a business can be stressful and I can't remember everything, so I do forget small things sometimes. She also prefers to do things her own way, so I ask her multiple times about certain things to make sure she's happy. I feel like a lot of people replying to this post are projecting past bad experiences or annoyances onto our relationship. I mean, of course, you can't fit a whole relationship history into one Reddit post, and strangers won't know our dynamics, but I'm not sure where all this frustration and hostility is coming from. I might have come to the wrong place for advice. Thank you to the ones that gave me level-headed responses. I'll wait for her to calm down and come to me. Hopefully, we can talk everything through. Alright, well, the community was dragging OP over the coals for being a crappy boyfriend, and I think they were absolutely off the mark. I do not agree with any of those comments, and like OP said, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were projecting their own grievances of past relationship or maybe even present ones onto OP's situation, which, yeah, it doesn't really help OP at all. But after that whole explanation he gave us with the context, he's gonna wait for her to calm down and hopefully they can talk it over. Now, OP has given us 2 updates to this post that I've merged into one, so let's move on to finish the story with that. But before that, if you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to leave a like, give me a comment because it helps with engagement, and if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing so today. And now let's move on with the updates. I wasn't going to post an update post, but some people messaged me about it, so here it is. I waited for my girlfriend to calm down and come to me. And after a few hours, she did. She was crying and really apologetic. We wanted to talk about what happened. She said her PMS made her really upset and her hormones were acting up more than usual this month, making her more irritable. I told her I understood but needed some space to think, so I slept in the guest room. I understand that she can't control her PMS symptoms, but I didn't grow up in a house where slamming doors and screaming at each other was a normal thing to do when someone is frustrated. Also, her saying that she wants to break up shouldn't be a heat of the moment thing. Even though most of the comments were attacking me and making all kinds of assumptions, they also made me think about the dynamic of my relationship and the burden I take on myself. I feel like I'm doing way more in the relationship than my girlfriend. I'm carrying most of the weight on my own shoulders. I thought it was normal because I really love her and want her to be happy, but now that people have pointed out the whole mental load thing and how responsibilities should be shared, I'm starting to think I might have taken on too much. In a way, this might be the reason why she thinks she can treat me the way she did yesterday. Someone told me in the DMs that there's a fine line between being kind and being a pushover, and I sure as hell don't want to be taken advantage of because of my kindness. I'll talk to her today and see if we can figure out a way to share the responsibilities more evenly at home and in our relationship. I'll also have to lay down more boundaries, which will be hard, but I have to do it. Thanks again for the level-headed comments and DMs. OP's final update. Not sure how many people will see this, but for some reason, I'm getting requests for an update all of a sudden. After my last post, my girlfriend blew up again and threw a whole pizza on the floor because she got upset. This was it for me. I can't tolerate her outbursts, especially after a 12-hour workday. She also refuses to take on any more responsibilities around the house and doesn't want to work more hours. I even offered her a job at my company, but she refused. I'm heartbroken, but she doesn't want to change anything, and sorry doesn't cut it anymore. She's in the middle of moving out. Probably not the most positive update you were looking for. Well, OP, it might not be the most positive update for the community that was bashing you in the initial comments, but I think it's a good update for you. Behavior like that in a relationship from any of the partners, it's not something to be normalized. You don't treat your partner like that. If you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you've got grievances, you talk them through. You don't throw crap on the floor and just run away. That's not how an adult behaves. Or at least in my opinion, not like a proper adult should behave. So I think ending the relationship is the best case for you, OP. So on that note, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole here, and it's by user Neith. Am I the a-hole here for telling my mother I will not invite my cousin to my birthday because of her habit? My 23 female mother, 51 female, is berating me for not wanting to invite my cousin, 24 female, to my birthday party. The thing is, my cousin and her boyfriend have this habit. Kink really, and they do not stop sneaking off to have sex, sometimes semi-publicly, sometimes in public. I was invited to her birthday 6 months ago. It was a restaurant, and when they brought in the cake, they were nowhere to be found. My uncle, mom's brother, and her father sent me to look for her. I found them having sex in his car in the middle of the parking lot, and she saw me and smiled and waved, laughing with her boyfriend. This was not the first time something like this happened. I later found out that my uncle sent me because he didn't want to catch his daughter in the act again, and her friends already knew of this habit, so they refused to engage in their fantasies of being caught. I took my things and left, and my mother scolded me because she said my cousin was upset and embarrassed that I just left with a disgusted face and that her friends backed me up. Some left too. I told my mom what happened, and she told me I should have endured it so as to not cause a scene. What? But I told her that I'm a grown woman and I could have left even without a reason. Now, my birthday is in a week, and I have made plans for a weekend out in my grandmother's beach house. She has given me permission to use it and bring my friends. I sent out the invitations, and when my cousin found out, because my uncle told her, having heard it from my mom, she was confused as to why she didn't receive one. I told her I loved her, but I didn't want her there because my friends were bringing their boyfriends too, as am I, and I didn't want them to have to endure her and her boyfriend's kink because it would make us uncomfortable. I told her it is one thing to have sex and it is another to engage other people in their sex life without their consent. She was furious, saying that I was excluding her and that she wouldn't do it on my birthday. But I laughed and told her that she did it on her birthday, so I didn't believe it, and I would rather not risk her ruining my party. So she went complaining to my mom about it, and she tried to force me, and since I live on my own and pay my own bills, she couldn't. So she went to my grandmother to try and convince her not to let me use the house, but I had already told my nonna everything, and she dismissed her. So now my mom, my aunt, and my cousin are all bothering me about it. I think I have a right to invite whoever I want, but maybe I was too harsh? Me and my cousin were already close friends, but these past months, I've been pulling away from her and I feel a little bad. So, am I the a-hole here? No, OP, of course you are not, and you answered yourself. You're a grown woman and you get to invite whoever the F you want to your birthday. If your cousin didn't make the cut because of how she's behaving lately with her boyfriend and you don't like that and you don't want to put your guests up to that, it's your party and you cleared it with your nonna who owns the place where the party's gonna be. So nobody gets to force you. So yeah, OP, your party, your boundaries, your invitations, that's it. Not the a-hole. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? Let me know your judgment in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Forget Regret one day says, ew, I'm all for a healthy sex life, but the minute you need to shock other people with it, I draw the line. It's beyond inappropriate to have sex in the middle of a party in such a way that you want other people to catch you. That kind of kink infringes on other people's rights, and I think you had every reason to leave her off your guest list and tell her why. Maybe suggest your mom hosts your cousin and boyfriend that weekend so she can play this weird game. I'm just astonished that everyone is trying to pressure you to invite these people knowing their history. Not the a-hole. And Opie responds, she's telling me that she has promised to not do it, or just not bring her boyfriend. But I know my cousin. She is very bold and impulsive, and her relationship is relatively new, so she might try to flirt or hook up with one of my friend's boyfriends, because she has cheated before on her long-term boyfriend, which I know is unfair and she might not do it, but I do not want any drama on my birthday, and it makes me feel a little selfish. Awesome Kid's mom says, not the a-hole. Look, even your uncle knows this is her normal behavior, and I applaud you for setting a boundary with family. It's a difficult thing to do. Don't cave, but tell your mom to make it up to your cousin you're going to arrange for her and the boyfriend to come stay with her. Then she can have the pleasure of her having sex around her house in hopes of getting caught. And Opie responds, wait, that's actually a good point. And Existing Human 01 says, not the a-hole. If she's going to leave to have sex midway, she doesn't need to come at all. Yikes. Well, the community agrees that OP is absolutely not the a-hole and that her setting boundaries for her own birthday and not to want to invite the cousin who would do this kind of thing and make everybody uncomfortable is an absolutely reasonable thing to do. So now, let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank everyone who has wished me a happy early birthday. I really appreciate it, and there are some things I want to clarify. For some reason, some of the people who commented seemed to believe my mother was invited to the party, but she was not. We will have our own mother-daughter day after. Some people also have a problem with my nonna having a beach house. It's a weird thing to focus on, but okay. Some people were really rude about the way I handled everything, or to my mother, which I didn't really appreciate, but I've been told that that's Reddit for you, so I guess I should have known when posting here. I showed my mother my post and she was appalled. I had to translate everything for her. She wasn't all too happy that I decided to share a family matter with internet strangers, but when I told her that my cousin was sharing something much more private with the public, she dropped the issue. She apologized for trying to pressure me into inviting her, as I said in the comments. She only knew that I caught her one time, but there was some miscommunication because she had thought I just caught her in the bathroom of the restaurant, not the parking lot, which is still bad, but like, at least there's doors. I told her over the phone and she's a little hard of hearing, so I believe her. She called my uncle, her brother, cousin's father, and tore him a new one after she learned that he sent me to find my cousin knowing what I would find and for not saying anything when she and his wife were bothering me, knowing the reason why his daughter is not invited. My cousin has blocked me on everything and I don't really care, but it's weird because the F did I do? Oh, and it turns out that my aunt did know what her daughter is up to. She just thinks that it's her private issues, which is kind of ironic because, well, my mother and I have decided to leave it as it is for now, and we've gone low contact with them. She is really weirded out. That's all for now. Thank you all for all the kind and helpful comments. Alright, OP, well, it turns out it was just a little bit misinformation from your mom's part, but as soon as she knew what was going on, she backed you up and actually helped them back off. So here's hoping you had an awesome birthday, OP. Thank you for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.